Well, there you go. Credits don't want to work. They worked before. G'day, one of my lights has gone out. Oh dear. Don't tell me it's going to be one of those days. I don't want one of those days. There we go. Oh, now I've got feedback. Oh, wait a minute. There you go. Got rid of the feedback. Got my other light on. Hey. G'day everyone, this is Steve. Welcome to Woodworking Masterclass. Oh, woodworking chaos. What's the time now? I've been up for 3 hours. No, 4 hours. I've been laying a floor in my new toilet I'm building in one of the other sheds for the students when I go live. So hang on, let me say good day to everyone. Oh, dearie dear. How do I get this rolling? Go away. Where are you? I've got reflection on. Oh, have I got the right one on? I don't know. No, there we go. Should be good. We'll get there. G'day, Angry. How are you, mate? G'day, Ray. Lovely to have you on board. Joel, g'day, mate. How are you? Oh, dear. I like your comments on my car post. What else can we got? Stupid YouTube notification I was early this morning. Thankfully. Oh! Let me just see if I can get this dog out of here. Oh! Removing that dog's like getting Bob out of a butcher shop. Very hard. The woodworking underground. That's us. But you're here, Ray. That's the most important part. Pebbles a cat. Yeah, look, I've got a whole heap of things planned. Whether or not I get them done, I don't know. You know how it works. John Lennon, he's the man. Life's what happens when you're making other plans. Streams are much the same, you know. Wait a minute. G'day, Tango. How you going, mate? Oh, dear. Well, hello, Pebbles. Dear. Joshua, evening. Hey, g'day from China. Patrick, hi, y'all. Larry, lovely to have you on board. John, g'day, mate. How you going? Yeah, I'm with you on Facebook. They should ban politics. There wouldn't be so many posts. And Max, g'day. Lovely to have you on board. All right. Now, what I'm going to do, I don't know what to do with that, so worry about that later on. There are so many things I want to do. I want to do some dovetails because I want to start on that box that where's that veneer? There you go. Did I put it here? I can't remember. Wait a minute, let me just move all this stuff. Oh dear. Oh, you ever notice life's not complicated when you're lying in bed? Oh. Okay. All right. Oh. Here we go. We did this last week. And that's the veneer that we laid on. Oh, wait a minute. Let me turn on record. Because I want to record this. Because then I can put up other videos, you see. Wait on, let me just hit record buttons everywhere. There we go. It's all good. Oh, I haven't got my GoPro going. That's all right, that'll work out. Hey, those of you... Oh yeah, hang on, let's go again. That's the veneer that we glued up last week. So I'll trim that. I might trim that off now, actually. We'll get that out of the way. And those of you that have been watching the YouTube videos, or the members, hit the join button if you want to join up and get different videos. But I appreciate everyone that's joined up. It really does my heart well. I don't know, something humbling about someone giving you a couple of dollars because they appreciate what you do. So thank you so much. And I hope you're enjoying the different videos because you get a totally different look to what you do on the stream. And I'm working on making it better, or betterer. Oh, So now let me just put I've got to sharpen some chisels. That chisel wouldn't do much. Wait a minute. There we go. I'm going to sharpen some of these because I'm going to do some dovetails today. Some through dovetails, some half lap dovetails. And what else did I want to do? Sharpen a saw, which I will do. We'll start cutting up this box, which is going to be the box for this one here. I'll just make sure this other camera over here is working. Yeah, but it is. It's pointing in the wrong direction. Can't blame Bob for that. I'd like to. There we go. I don't know where his master's voice is. I think he's actually in Susie's shed, enjoying the air conditioner. And I'll tell you what, I've got the air conditioner on here too. So let me just trim this one off. Oh, what did I say? I was going to sharpen saws as well. Going to sharpen saws up. Got some saw files there. So I'll show you that. We'll trim this one first. Put the air conditioner. There you go. I like 22 degrees. It keeps it cool, but it doesn't punch the power bill through the roof, which is good. So let's get rid of these remotes and keyboard, because I don't think I need that at the moment. Oh, have I got junk everywhere? Believe it or not, it is getting tidier a little bit each day, shed by shed. I've got big plans for the end of the month. Everything's going to be, no, not this month, not January month, February month. I'm leaving it a bit too late for this month. Okay, let's go all cams here. And so now to trim veneer, you can do it like I'm doing it, or put a little bit of something underneath there, which will give you, and by the way, I timed it. When I've got the timer on, saying, countdown, boy, that time goes quick. And do you know it takes 23 seconds to fill that glass with water? I know, because I finished at 1 second to do when I was due to lift off. All right, same, when you're cutting veneer, you just stroke, especially burl. Now this is oversized, so I've got a bit I can play with. And you just keep gently stroking it until it comes off. I'm not even going right up to the ply on that. At the moment I just want to get the bulk off. And I'll be honest, I was going to cheat with the this timber here. I thought, I'll quickly do it on the table saw. And then I thought, no, you deserve better than that. So we'll do it by hand, because that's how I expect students to do it. Good practice. So what are we going to do? I've got to sharpen the chisels. I'll do that on the Tornic. Yeah, we'll sharpen the handsaw. Actually, I've got an old handsaw here I want to really see if I can bring back to life. It's an old Diston, I think. Yeah, an old Diston. So we might, what I'll do a little bit later on, we'll sharpen a Lee Nielsen saw, and then I might have a crack at that one. Oh, also, is Roy in yet? He asked me, he's a member of the Woodworking Masterclass channel, which I appreciate, and thank you to everyone else that's joined. And he sent me an email the other day, said, could I do a short video on the different uses of the different planes? So we'll do that as well. That might be interesting. At the moment, I'll just get all this squared away. Well, what have we got? Jared, g'day. Oh, first live stream. Well, thank you. Welcome, and thanks for taking the time out of your evening or day to join us. Oh, those of you that don't know, I just recommissioned my little MX-5 sports car. Oh, I put a new soft top on it over the weekend, yesterday. And oh, is it nice? Because before, the soft top I had, it was all scungy and ripped. And so if I went out anywhere, I used to have to take a punt and say, yeah, I'll go topless, or put the hard top on. And I would lay $1 to a dog biscuit. Whenever I went topless, it would rain. Now, I don't know if you know, but convertibles, they use Mythbusters. Mythbusters did one of this, but they used a Porsche, not an MX-5. And I disagree with what they came up with, but I do agree with the results. If you're driving and it's raining, you don't get wet. Anything, they reckon anything above 100 kilometres an hour they didn't get wet. Well, in my little frog, which is what the grandkids call it, because it's green, if I'm doing 60 kilometres an hour or 40 mile an hour, I don't get wet. The only thing that kills that is when you get the traffic lights and they're red. Then you definitely get wet. But the mate of mine's got a Saab convertible, and we used to go out together, and one day we went out, we had the tops down, and it started to rain, and it didn't matter because we were on an open road, and then we came into civilization, and you guessed it, we got a stoplight, and it was hilarious because as soon as we stopped, I just reached behind me like that, grabbed the roof, put it over, clipped it up, I was right. Got a few raindrops on me, nothing too much. But him, being a Saab, oh, it's an electric soft top. And he had to sit in the pouring rain for 50 seconds while the top goes, there you go. See, sometimes manual is better than automatic. Okay. All right, let's clean that up. There you go. That'll be cut to size. So this little, we'll go over here. This little piece here, it will be taken care of because there's some solid edging that's going to go on there. So I'll put that to one side. What are we going to do first? We might do the saw. We might do a saw first. Oh dear, oh dear. All right, I just got to get organised. But g'day Wolfie from the UK. Well, there you go. We got a couple of first-time streamers. Jared, g'day again from Oklahoma. Good evening to you today. Well, there you g'day. Good evening. Good morning. Pebbles the cat. I'm new to woodworker. Why would you use a really long plane as on your wall instead of another? Well, Pebbles, funny you should mention that. I think I just mentioned I'm going to go through the different plane uses and we'll cover the plethora of planes. No, actually, we'll just do the bench planes. Here's my party trick. So what we're going to do, we're going to cover the most common ones, but I'll do this anyway. Oh, I was looking for that. So these are the planes we'll cover. Oh, that is a number 8, and that is a number 1. So we will cover the uses from this one to this one. These ones you can't, or you can get them. I think Lee Nelson bring them out, and Wood River, I've got a copy, and there's somebody else. But they're not all that used nowadays. They're more collector's items, but I'll tell you what, I'll do that now because I don't want to do a saw right now. Give me a drink of water. Oh dear, oh dear. All right, we'll do the plane usage first. There are a plethora of planes. As a matter of fact, I counted the planes I have in this workshop and use, and I have over 52 planes that I use. We won't go into those. What I'll concentrate on is the bench planes. So that's what we'll do. Let me just move this camera around a little bit. Which you can't see, but when you see the videos, you will see the camera I'm alluding to. What have we got here? What's going on, Steve? Love the Master. Oh, mate, it's great, isn't it, Richard? I just love driving it. And I went, so I've got a 3.6 litre truck as well, V6. And if I drive that around the block, it's $20 in fuel. The little Mazda, I was having an absolute, and you can be a boy racer. You really can. But you're still doing the legal limit because, you know, it's only a 1600 motor. And I don't know where I went. I went for a few coffees around the place, drove up to the city, came back, did a few errands, ran around, came back, filled it up. I could not. I tried, but I couldn't put $8 worth of fuel, and that's at $1.40 a litre, which is about $6 or $7 a gallon, I suppose. I could not get $8 in it. It was $7.80, and I was up to that much of the filler pipe, which I know is ridiculous, but anyway. Whereas, if I did the same thing in the V6, yeah, easy, 15, 16 bucks worth of juice. So that's why I love, but I went and bought some chisels the other day, some sets of chisels for the school that I'm going to start up in another shed. And I bought, what was it, 10 boxes of chisels and these things. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, dearie dear. Up. I bought 10 of these. They weren't the M444s like these are. These are the M444s, they're a different one. But 10 of those, and my boot was full. And my wife rang me up and said, darling, can you go to the supermarket on the way home and grab me some stuff? And I had to say no because it wouldn't fit in the boot. Oh dear. But anyway, all good, all good. Just the facts, ma'am, just the plain facts. Yeah, it comes out again. Chevrolet Diesel, g'day, how are ya? Oh, yeah, look, yeah, Richard, this little CRX is a good fun too. Anthony, how you going from Ireland? Peter, g'day from Melbourne. There you go. Are you still on silly time down there? Is there still daylight saving? I'm not sure. Oh, I hope they never bring it to Queensland. I'll get too confused. Steve-o, 83, g'day from England. Whereabouts in England, mate? G'day, Christopher. How are you? Oh, it is. There you go. All right, what was I going to do? Planes, that's what we'll do. I'll do the common ones first, and then I'll give you the uncommon ones. Okay. All right, I'll quickly touch on a blocky. Oh. I could do all Stanleys, but I'll play around and do other things. First of all, these little ones here, that one there, oh, well, we'll go with this one first. That's the block plane, the Stanley 060, or there's a 960 or an 020 contractor. Much the same little veggie. They're a low angle block plane and they have adjustable mouth, which is, see how that mouth opens and closes? That's when you do an end grain and you want a really nice fine cut. This is a Veritas Lamborghini. No, it's an NX60. You got the difference of $100, $400. But anyway, that just looks, I think it might be 500 now, I don't know. But that's got a nice lot of weight to it. And you ask, is there a difference? In all honesty, from my perspective, yes, there is. But if you're just kicking off in woodwork and you're just doing run-of-the-mill stuff, nah, stick with this one here. My preference with the NX60, which is this little beauty here, which you can't see. Let me see if I can get this working. There you go. Look at that. With this little beauty here is the weight. Oh, look, it looks really nice and shiny when you buy it. It's nickel plated and it comes in a black velvet bag and it's wrapped in silver paper. It's, oh, but you use it for a day. I'll tell you what, the shine soon goes off it. But the thing I do like about it, it's got heft. It's got a lot more weight than the Stanley. But having said that, I've used this Stanley for, what are we into now? I reckon I've had that for 30 years, whereas I've had that one for about 10. So there you go. But they're pretty close to the same size. Now the reason for block planes is they're really handy if you're doing little jobs and you just want to plane things off. They're great for end grain. We'll do a little bit of end grain planing later on when we do the dovetails. But they are really nice for that. They don't tear out, they don't catch. They're good for just knocking off little high spots on jobs. And I would say if I had to have one plane in the shed and I was buying all my timber that was dressed, I'd possibly block plane. So there you go, 2 essential for a workshop, block plane and bandsaw in your set. Okay, so that's block planes. They have a specific purpose and they're great for doing little jobs around the place. Now, oh, hang on, better get one of these. These are the most common things. Ah, there you go. I hate them. But anyway, all right, from, what have we got? Oh, hello, Bob. Have you decided to come in? The Bob has entered the building. Can't you get in? You know why? Because you're too fat. There you go. All right, you go over there. You going to say hello to the people? Or what? You got the hump. What do you got the hump about? What's going on? No, what's He's not even going on his blanket. It's too hot. He wants the concrete. You going to get a tail wag, Bob? Hey, Bob, tail wag. No, I didn't say get up, just tail wag. There you go. All right, go and lie down. You're a good lad. Go on, go and lie down. Did Mum kick you out, did she? Oh, yeah. I don't blame her. I would too. All right. So, we'll start off with the number 3. A number 3 is a smoother. And a number 4 is a smoother, but it's also what they sell as a handyman plane, which means it's a bit of everything, and by being a bit of everything, it really doesn't do anything. That's my opinion of the number 4. They are most prolific. If you go anywhere, nearly everyone's got a number 4 plane, whether they use it or not. But a number 3 is for smoothing. So if I had machining marks on here, and we'll use this later on, actually, I'll see if I've had a clean up, so you really can't find too much stuff around here. Oh, what's that? All right, this will do. I don't know how smooth that is. Okay, that's got machining marks on it. Lettuce. Ow! Oh, that hurt. Oh, it's got a great big, bit of glue went right under my fingernail, excuse me. Ow! Where's my knife? Oh, there's one. Not allowed to carry a knife, and people say, what do you need a knife for? You're a woodworker, you'll soon figure it out. Oh, that was bordering on unpleasant. Okay. Well, let's pop this in here. What's the grain doing? Boom, boom, boom. That'd be right. Give me a bit of timber that's the wrong size. Wait a minute. I'll get something here. People ask me if I prepare. I think I can safely say, no, I don't. I just come out here and do it. Okay, this will do. It's not too long. All right. So a smoothing plane is to get machining marks out. That's not going to work either. Geez, I'm good at getting the right bits of timber. What about that bit there? Ah, that'll do. There, this bit will do. We'll have this as the demo piece. So I don't know if you can see. I doubt if you can. But that's a bit rough. We'll try the other one. That's been planed, that side. Might be able to get a sheen off of that. And this part hasn't. So what I'm going to do is just shoot this with a smoothing plane. We'll go all cams, there you go. And as you can see, it's set fine. We're taking slight shavings off, and I can feel that's just starting to smooth up. Okay, that's not too bad. And that's what a smoothing plane for is, to take all the machining marks off, or work marks. If you've got any that are a little bit hard to get off, grab a card scraper, which is one of these, and you can take any of those marks out with a card scraper. Of course, I'll get on to the H&T Gordon planes in a minute. At the moment we'll do those, but these, for those of you that know, are my preferred planes. Whoa! That's what you call a heavy shaving. Let me just knock that one back a bit. Oh dear. The problem you can get with Stanley planes is if it's cranky grain, it will, nice and fine, it will tear out, whereas H&T Gordons don't tear the grain out. That's one of the reasons I prefer them. Look how fine I can get those shavings. And that, believe me, is smooth. But anyway, more on the H&Ts later. So that's the idea of a number 3. It's smoothing plane. Small, easy to handle. Stanley make them. That one I have there is a Lee Nielsen ductile bronze. That's the Stanley equivalent. Only, in all honesty, I just love the Lee Nielsen. It's got so much weight and it's so nice to hold. But anyway, that's the two of them there. These are most likely more around on the second-hand market, and these are new. So that's the smoothing plane. As I said before, a number 4 is meant to be a smoothing plane as well. I use mine as a hogging plane, and if you can see, that blade in there is actually curved. Come around this side. And I use that for hogging timber out. If I've got a board that's undulated or rough sawn and I want to flatten it, first of all I use a scrub plane, which is a specialty plane. Then I use this hogging plane, which isn't quite as severe as a scrub plane, and then I'll go to a number 7 or a number 6 to flatten it out. But more of that later. Okay, so that's, yes, there's another smoothing plane which I really never use, and that's a 4.5, and you can tell I haven't used that one much. I've got all the bits for it over there. That is about the same size as a 4, and it's a width of a 5.5 or a 7. So for my money, I've seen a lot of builders use these on site, and they're a bit of a robust knockabout plane. Personally, I don't like them. If I was going to use a 4.5, I would much prefer to go and use a 5.5. I think it's far more adaptable to different jobs. Far more versatile, that's the word, versatile. So that's a 5.5. We'll get to that. Okay, so that's the smoothest. The next plane you move into is the jack plane, which is a number 5. This one's got a corrugated sole on it. And various ideas why they're called jack planes. I said the other week, possibly because they're a jack of all trades, you can use them for everything, but doing some research during the week, I came up with what they are is actually a shortened 4 plane. Now, this I'll talk about later on. This is a number 6. And it's classed as a 4 plane. And you'll see that it's shorter. Where are we? It's shorter by a fair bit from the 4 plane. Now the idea being the 4 plane was the one you did before you used any other plane. So if you had rough sawn timber or something like that and you had to get into it before you could shoot it, make it straight and smooth it, you would use the 4 plane to get rid of all the fur and fibres in the timber. The jack came into it because in carpentry, this is what I read, in carpentry terms, jack meant shortened. You've got a jack stud and a jack hip joint and jack joist and something like that. It's a joist or a stud or a bearer that has been cut off. So the jack plane was a 4 plane that was cut off and they called it a jack plane. I don't find much use for it in the shed myself. The corrugations on the bottom, you see there, they are actually there to reduce friction, especially if you're using, in Australia, spotted gum, brush box isn't so bad, spotted gum, tallow wood, stuff like that, that's a bit resinous and sticky. If you use that, and if you look at the corrugations, they're not that deep, but it actually reduces the surface area of the sole by about 50%. Theory being, you're not pushing as hard when you're cleaning your timber up. You'll find corrugated planes, I think I've seen them from 2 through to 8, but I don't use them that much. Because the reason I don't like them is I like having my finger guiding me, and when I've got the corrugations, no, it doesn't work for me. So anyway, that's a jack plane, and that's a 5. I'll show you another one in a little bit, which is a bit different. The 5.5, I think honestly, if you were going to do general woodworking, a bit of furniture making, and you could only afford a couple of planes, that's what I'd be getting. I'd be getting a block plane and a 5.5. With that, you can do most things. Then I'd get a 3. But this is also considered a jack plane. It's a 5.5. It's shorter than a 4 plane, but it has the full width of the 4 plane. And to me, this is a great all-rounder. It's not that heavy to hold. You can flatten boards with it, you can dress boards with it, and I've actually used it as a smoothing plane. If you're going to use it as a smoothing plane, a little trick is, on these corners of the blade, just round them over. Because if you round them over, this is the bit I'm talking about here, instead of having those square, if you round them over, you don't get what you call tram tracks, which is when you're plane, you get 2 tracks either end of the blade, so that eliminates that. So that's a jack plane. And then we move on to a jointer, or I call them shooting planes. But this is for jointing boards. And jointing boards is when you've got a straight edge. I don't know how straight that is. We'll give it a go. So which way the grain's going. Okay, we'll put it in here. The idea being, can you see that? No, you can't. Wait a minute. Oh no, I should be able to do it on here. It's all right, we'll keep the same camera shot. Not sure if this is set either. I know it's sharp because we sharpened it the other day. And the idea of the longer plane is if you've got a short plane, such as the number 3, we use the Lee Nielsen. Whoops, I just fell off the screen, Mum. Bring me back. There we go. And if this board was like that, this plane would follow and I'd never get it straight. Whereas with a number 7 or a number 8, if that's got undulations in it, this sole is long enough that it can bridge all the peaks, and I'll just be planing peaks until I come down to the valleys, and then I'll get it straight. And that's the idea of this, is to, you can hear a little bit of hit and miss there actually. So it's obviously not dead straight. It's not until you get the full hiss of the blade all the way down that you know it's straight. So once you've been doing it for a while, when you start and you hear hit and miss, okay, there's a little bit in the middle there it's not working. If you look at that shaving, that's pretty well the same width all the way through, except for the last little bit. And that suggests to me I haven't got it square yet. So we'll give it one more shot along there. Okay, if I look at that, that's going to be, it's pretty bony timber, but it's got that same width all the way through, so then I know that is straight. So that's what a shooting plane's for. So they're your main planes. Not good to turn the heat gun on like that. And then in between those, you've got others, which do similar things. This massive behemoth is an absolute gorgeous number 8. It is wider and longer than a number 7 and a lot heavier. And it does the same job as a number 7, but on bigger timber. Or if I've got a really gnarly bit of timber and I need the weight, I'll use this one. This is a Lee Nielsen. It is actually a pound heavier than the Stanleys. We checked that one day. Now this is a number 6. Traditionally, this was the 4 plane. And again, if you put it next to the number 7, you can see it's shorter than the number 7. But the width of the blades is the same. So that was a 4 plane. I like these, and if I get people slight of stature that don't have possibly the other upper body strength to handle a number 7, I highly recommend they get a number 6. And it will do the same job as a jointer. Now we've got this thing here is another one of my favourites. This one's called a junior jack. This is a 5 1/4, and it is the width of a number 3, but is just a bit longer than the number 4. And it is a very, very useful plane. As far as I know, the only people that are currently making these is Veritas, and you can pick them up on auction sites. They're going for about anywhere from $100 to $200, but they are a very nice plane. You can use them as a smoothie, you can use them as a jointer. If you're going to get into box making, they're a very handy plane to have as well. Then we go to the ones that really, number 1 as you saw, where did that go? And a number 2. Now these really don't fit the bill anymore. They're still made, I believe. I know Lee Nielsen make a number 1. I'm not sure if they make a number 2. In box making, they're fantastic. They really are, but a good Stanley number 1, such as this one here, is going to set you back anywhere from, I don't know, $1,000 to $3,000, $4,000. This one was well over $1,000 when I bought it 10 years ago. But it's a nice plane to have, and this one I use in box making too. It's a number 2, would be classed as a smoother, I guess. The research I've done on the number 1s, no one can give me a definitive answer on what they actually are for. But it's a sweet little plane to have. I use that in box making as well. So there you go. That's the bench planes from number 1 to number 8, with all points in between. But the most common ones you'll find now is, well, actually, I doubt if you've, I don't think 3's so common, but 3 to me is much more use than a number 4. So if I had my choice, I'd have a block plane for sure, a number 3, a 5.5, and a 7, and I'd be happy with that. Anyway, that's it. Any questions? Let's go. I'll have a chat now. Oh, gee whiz, I've got to go that far back. Excuse me, I'll catch up with everyone. Hey Ed, how you going, mate? All the way from Ohio? Northamptonshire, in the Midlands. I've got a, is it any of the Lake Districts? I've got an uncle that lives in the Lake District. Thomas? Well, they were all bad at something before we get good at it. Welcome to the stream. Dave, another from Ireland, good. Nice to have a chat with you too. Mate, Michael, are you in the shed all by yourself? Let me get a drink of water. Oh, this might be your wife's plane. It's got a compass plane. And what a compass plane can do, it can actually bend, turn around, and bite you. So there you go. You're a brave man, Michael, I'll tell you. Oh, let's go back up here. What have we got here? Yamaha bike, I'm taking a break from planing right now. Oh, thank you. What are you planing and what are you making? Yeah, Wolfie, I've actually got some videos on how to set up a plane. I think I set up a plane in a stream last week. If you get stuck, give me a hoy and I'll see if I can help you. I put that on the wrong one, didn't I? Oh, dearie, dearie, dear. There we go. Oh. Oh. Okay. And then you got other things like, and this is a carriage plane. It's a 010 and it does full rebates. Just in passing, I rarely use that one. I used to, but now I've got the H&T Gordon stuff. I use that mainly. Yeah, I like the rounds. I've got a couple of those too. That's a 71, that's a 71.5. I use those a lot, and I've actually went and invested in a new Veritas one the other day, which is very nice. Whoops, that almost let you break. Where did that one end up? Oh no, it didn't hit the floor. It didn't hit the floor, so that's good. And then you've got a 271, which I can't find. But it's floating. Oh, hang on, no, there you go. Hello! That's a 271 with a bit in it. And speaking of which, everyone be nice. My wife's just arrived. Hello, darling.
Hello, darling.
What you up to? What to do? Come on, Bob. Oh, it's streaming.
Sorry?
I've got a public out there. At least one. What you do? Oh, I like that. Come and say hello to the peoples. So that's why I can't say anything, Michael, because I get in trouble. No, I like that. Is that easier to do? Excuse us, Susie is inventing a new bib. Yeah, I like that. Why should it be the other way?
I don't know.
And even if you brought it down
Yeah.
You know, further than that. There you go.
Embroidery in there.
Yeah.
But that was a sample one.
So she's going into making bibs for me. Bibs and nappies.
The new cloth type nappies, not the square ones that we used for our kids way back when. But yeah.
We used to use paper bags for our kids. That's it.
Bibs and bots.
Yeah, good.
What?
That's it. Looks after them. Covers everything. Let's see who's going to say hello to you. Paul says howdy. That's Doc. Says hi, Doc.
Hi, Doc.
The race is high.
Hi.
I've got to catch up on all the chat.
Oh, there you
So
go.
I've been busy.
All right.
All right, no, I like that. Do you like that?
Yeah.
Excuse us.
I'm wondering if it might be a bit wide across Bub's.
I think so.
Waist, though.
But it didn't mean you can't do
No,
that.
down.
That concept is, no, I like it.
Okay. And I fixed the overlooker.
Yeah,
It doesn't look so disgusting.
Tis good. So you're going to start streaming again one day?
I don't know. Maybe one day.
Monday, maybe one day. It's good.
Brain's full of other stuff at the moment.
All right, love. I'll catch you later. Love ya. Yeah, we'll just play with different shapes. Yeah. Okay. Oh, dear. Now, I don't know. I don't like the Lee Nelson. Oh, no. Oh, no, I don't like number 4s. That's it. Did Bob come back in? He did. Doc said hi, Bob. You got a tail wag, mate. Was that, have you still got the receipt, Ray? Take it back. Get your money back on it. Yeah, a good thing to do with a number 4, turned into a scrub plane. I have 2 number 4s, but 4 number 3s. Mate, well, there you go. The number 3's the way to go. Oh, well, that's all right. Providing people are watching, that's the main thing, Michael. What about the marking knife, Maker's Mark? Doc, that was a good one. Yeah, number 7s are great. I love them. Say, Sean's, oh, there you just thumbs up. I haven't got onto the thumbs up yet. 5.5's got as gone, but also, oh, look, it is. It's a nice plane to use. Oh, no, I could get on the wooden planes if you like. I've got this big behemoth down here. I pulled out last night. I love this. Tell you what, you ever want to frighten timber in submission, that is a decent shooting plane, or a jointer. Yeah, that's a ripper. I can take a quarter of an eighth of an inch off at a pass with this thing. It's lovely. Loves it. Oh. What is that on your bench there? That is an H&T Gordon bench vise. No. Turn that around. There you go. It's an H&T Gordon end vise. And you get little dogs with it. You get brass dogs, or you can get wooden dogs, or you can get thinner dogs. And very, very useful. They come in 2 sizes, the 200 and the 300. I think the 200 is much, much more versatile. But check them out, htgordon.com.au. And Terry might be coming in, not today, but later on. I know he wants to do more videos. He also makes, I'll give you a plug, Tessa. He also makes all my moulding planes, dado planes, dovetail planes, side rebate planes, shoulder planes, spoke shaves. And this, my flagship, this is my all-time favourite. I love this. It's called a moving Philister. All done by hand. Everything's made by hand. So they got a good price tag on them, but worth every cent. Ah, there we go. Okay. Ah. Oh, I'd love to see that, Wolfie. Oh, James Krenoff used to love making his own block planes. So good on you. I agree with that, Doc. I really do. I reckon. I've got a saw. I don't know where it is now. And it's an absolute, there you go. It's a little rip saw. It's well over 100 years old. It's a Diston. And I can feel the previous user of this when I'm using it. And yeah, he was a craftsman. So I hope I don't dishonour it. It honestly, look, it's a dead ringer for, the Lee Nielsen almost. The handle's almost the same. Let's go over there. The handle's almost the same. Even got the little notch on the top. This is an 8 TPI. This is a 12. I've got a 12 of these next door. But yeah, very, very similar. Very nice saw to use. So yes, I'm sure the energy of the previous people remain. I don't know who's going to buy all my stuff, but I'm sure it'll end up on eBay. Oh dear. Ba-dum-bum, ba-dum-bum. Hi Reginald, how you going, mate? Thanks for popping in. I don't know how old mine are, Paul. I don't know what my oldest is. Oh, look, no, you can sharpen them on the grinder for years. That's all I do. I've got to get some water. For years, that's all I used to sharpen mine on. But I didn't use the big hefty 60 grit grey stone they give you. I changed over to, I think it would have been about an 80 grit aluminium oxide, and then I changed over to a 120 grit ceramic. But if that's all that you've got, that's all you've got. But now I use a Tormic. This is a T8, and that's it. That's all my blades go on now. It's a cold, slow Waterstone. And I think as you get more into it, you realise that you're not doing yourself any favours by using a hot grinder. If that's all you've got, hey, be about it, use it. But it heats the steel up, and if you're not careful, as soon as you go straw colour, as soon as you go blue, you're taking the temper out of the steel. Whereas if you're using a cold Waterstone or a whetstone, you keep the steel in good nick, keeps your angles true. But yes, you can sharpen them, just a bit of practice. What I used to do, I would sharpen it on a grinding wheel, and then I'd use a stone. This one's about 30 years old, I think, at least. Oh, and it's still in good nick. And I'd put a secondary bevel on with that. That meant I got the primary bevel on the grinder, and then I'd get the secondary bevel on that. And you'd go back to the stone maybe 8-10 times before you'd have to regrind it again. So it is possible. Do you need a jig to get the correct angle? Yes and no. Here's a trick. Where's a... Oh, dearie dear. What you can do, you can get jigs, or the other thing you can do if you've got a steady rest, you can actually take, I'll do it slow. Here you go. You take the cap iron off, that's this thing here, and then you put it on the other side and slide it around, and then you get your angle by putting this part here onto the fence of your grinder. So that sits there, and then you can just rub it backwards and forwards to get this angle here. So you can use that as a guide. It's something I used to do in days gone by, but as I said, now it's basically everything just gets done on the Tormic. So now I'm going to set this up again. Wait a minute. Should be right. There we go. All done. I like that whenever I pull blades out like that, I like to reset them. So then if I go and grab a plane, I know it's going to work. It's got a little bit too much here, but that'll do. There's nothing more frustrating than getting a plane, going to use it, and the blade's not set and it's all over the shop. So there you go. Do you use hand planes if you own a job? Are you still going to use a hand plane? Oh, yeah, I'll show you. Wait a minute. I'll be back. Wait a minute, and I'll show you why. Oh. Isn't it marvellous? It doesn't matter what tool you use. You put rubbish on the one you're going to use next. Hang on. There you go. All right. No, it's not the best example maybe, but of course you can't see it, I'm not showing it to you. I've just shot that over the jointer and I've got all the blade marks. So yes, you still need it because, where are we going to go? You've got to take those blade marks out. I remember I had somebody who was actually studying furniture design at a university here in Australia, and they used to spend their holidays with me, and he reckoned he learned more spending 3 weeks with me than he did 9 months at uni. But anyway, so when I take this off, hopefully you will see those machining marks. Okay, if we have a look at that, that's now nice and straight. There's no machining marks on there at all. But if you have a look at the piece, beautiful. The piece I just planed off. Can you see there? It's all crimped. And the reason for that is that's the machining marks that the jointer left. So whether it's a thicknesser or jointer, electric planer, anything like that, it's going to leave marks. And you'll need a hand plane if you want to do primo work. That's what I was saying with this young chap he'd bought. Not so young now, but when he used to come to me, I was younger then too. He'd made this entrance table. And it really surprised me because it came out of a workshop in Sydney, which is supposedly meant to be of good repute. And the back of the top of the table had jointer marks all the way down. And I said, mate, you can't do that. And he said, why not? But it's straight. I said, it's not straight. So he had to then plane that off. And then we did other little things, put dust panels underneath and did a few other bits and pieces that this school in Sydney didn't think they needed to do. And he rang me years later, and it was lovely because the sequel to the story was apparently he made it for his brother's, a wedding present for his brother. And somebody came to his brother's house once, this is many years later, and walked in and said, oh, I love that table, and put their hand straight underneath the table. Of course, it had dust panels on, and he drummed the dust panels. He said, oh, that bloke knew what he was doing. And then he moved it from the wall and looked down the back. Of course, there was no machining marks. He said, oh, he's got pride in his work. So there you go. So yes, in answer to your question, the short answer is yes. The long answer is you've just had it. That was Thomas, right. I should say, you do, you hear a different noise. Oh, am I that far behind? All right, then. I'm sorry if I've missed your things. A Gensaw. Okay, what are we doing here? Who was asking that? What was that, Yamaha? Or I'm just trying to... Hello from Wales, Mr. Lanky Welshman. Oh, look, everyone said good day to Sue and she's left. There you go. That happens. Oh, John, you're more than welcome, mate. Budrum, there you go. Oh, Burra. That's on the Sunshine Coast, isn't it? All right, I've got to look up a number 80. What's the number 80? I don't know if I've got a number 80. You got one on me, Doc. Hang on, wait a minute. Where's me? I used to know all of them. Then I got old. Oh, there you go. Got one of those. There you go. All right, there you go. I'm with you now. Gee, I tell you what, it's bad, isn't it? Bad when you don't know what you got. Oh, dear. What have I done here? There we go. There you go. That's number 80. That's also a cabinet scraper. I generally use cards, but that's great for tabletops, if you want to scrape tabletops. What were you scraping, Doc? Is the expense of a really dear plane worth it? I thought of spending hundreds, even thousands of pounds on a plane makes me gut. Can you manage with... Look, you can. A crappy old... I've got some really horrible cheap ones here. The difference is you get more pleasure out of using it. And look, I don't know. That one there, someone can correct me if I'm wrong. I think that's about $600 or $700 for that one. However, that one I picked up for $40 at an auction. Do I prefer using that? Yes, I do. Do I prefer it $500 more? Possibly not, but I've got it, so I'll use it in preference over this one. And look, you just find, it's like anything. It doesn't matter if you're in the kitchen, I'm sure you've got a favourite knife, whether it was dear or cheap. It's a knife that fits your hand and you use it, and it's the same with tools. So, yeah, you get what you pay for. I mean, I don't know if I'd go to the extent of Bridge City planes. They're a couple of grand. They are nice, very nice. I don't own any, but they, you know, they're more of a collector's piece. It's like the Norris planes, infill planes. They work extremely well too. I don't know if I could justify the price of them, but there are people out there that swear by them. So whatever you do, just start with something. That's the best thing. Well, listen, Doc, fly over and you can use my number 1. There you go. Yeah, router planes are great. Well, there you go. Thanks, Ray. Yeah, well, the Lee Nielsen number 1's only 500. I agree. A number 1 will do anything a block plane will do, but a block plane's cheaper. Have I ever weighed the number? No, not a fair contest there, Tango, but I'll do it for you because the number 4, I can tell you now, weighs 4 pounds. If I can find the scales. And that was interesting. I found out that if you weighed them up until a 5, they weighed whatever the plane was. Just food for thought. There we go. What do we want? Pounds. Okay. Now we'll go ounces. There you go. All right, a number 4. Well, let's do a Stanley number 3. I reckon it'll come at about 3 pounds. 3 pounds, 1 ounce. A number 7 comes in at 7 pounds and a couple of ounces. A number 6 comes in at 6 pounds. A number 1 comes in at 1 pound. A number 2 comes in at 2 pounds. So you tell me, is that coincidence or what? Okay, here's the number 3 Nielsen. I can tell you it's about 6 pounds. No, 4. There you go. 4 pounds on the dot. So a ordinary number 4. This is a footprint, not a Stanley. So it's a bit heavier. Just under 4 pounds. So there you go. That's interesting. I don't know if that means anything or not. I wonder what a 5 1/4 comes in at. This is where they started to go a bit silly. Nah, 3 pounds. But I just thought that was interesting. What's the 5 1/2? Does that come in the 5 1/2 pound? There you go. Just under 5 1/2 pound. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it or the numbering, but I thought it was interesting. Perhaps I've stumbled on something there, I don't know. Oh, all right, if you want to know this, this hooker here is 10 pounds. Whoops. In fact, it won't even weigh. No, but it is. I know because I weighed it on another scale. It's 10 pounds. But the Stanley number 8 is 8 pounds. So there you go. Hey, Daniel from Romania. Lovely to have you on board. Your tail voices are good, Ray. I love them. Oh, thanks for that, Ray. I'm sure Terry would appreciate that. Any advice on dovetail saws? I'm going to buy one soon. Thanks, Steve. I'm going to use one very soon, Dave. For many years, that's what I used. It's called a gent saw. This one's a garlic one. Crown make them, Pax make them. I think they all come out the same factory. But if you really want a dovetail saw, get the Lee Nelson tapered dovetail saw. I'm going to be using it today. It is by far the nicest dovetail saw I have ever owned or used. It is absolutely gorgeous. So, a little bit dearer than the gent saws, but if you're going to be cutting a lot of dovetails, it's the way to go. And I'll be using that, whoops, good on me. I'll be using that a little bit later on because we've got some dovetails to cut soon. Look at that, doesn't the time go fast? 11:15. That's it, I don't have anywhere else to be. So if you haven't, you might as well stay here too. I'm just trying to catch up to where I'm at. Hey, Alan, how you going, mate? No, I tell you what I do. I like the H&T Gordon stuff. Well, mate, I tell you what, I'm much closer to working out the itinerary, or whatever you call it, the curriculum. That's a big word for me. Curriculum of the woodworking course. So I will keep you inundated with updates shortly. Hey Brad, how you going all the way from Texas? Just got off work and you're watching me. Oh, I'm honoured. All right, what are we going to do now? I've done that. Oh, I might sharpen the saw. I don't know what the heat is here, but I know it's hot. Even Dog's not excited. He's just lying there. Oh dear. There we go. Oh, that's better. Haven't got a bowl for Bob. I should bring a bowl down for Bob. He might like a drink too, I suppose. Sorry, mate. I'll think of you later. Promise. All right, let's do a saw. I know I'm putting it off. Oh dear. Now you can make saw vices. This is a bought one. This one's a Joplin. There you go. Joplin. I've seen distant ones around. This was in a second-hand shop. I bought this about, it would have been easily 25 years ago. It was in a second-hand shop, and they wanted $100 for it. And I said to the guy, that thing hanging up on the wall, I'll give you $30 for it. The guy said, oh yeah, all right, on one condition. I said, what's that? He said, you tell me what it is. I said, no, sell it to me first and then I'll tell you what it is. So he did, and then I told him, oh, it's a saw vise. Oh, really? So there you go. I've seen them on eBay. Sometimes you can pick them up for $50. Sometimes a little bit more. There are a lot of videos out how you can make a vise clamp. I'm just moving a camera here so I can see what I'm doing. You can make one just using 2 bits of wood and a couple of clamps either end. You don't need anything flash and fancy. It's just I've got this one, so I'll use it. And now these files that I'm using, they are absolutely brilliant files. I got them from, there you go, that's the name of them. I got them from Anthony from Lee Nelson, Australia. Anthony, I know this is a long time coming, and I'm sorry, mate, but life just got in the way. Now, the big thing I would suggest to people who are going to buy them with the handles. I bought a heap, and I don't know if that's one there. No, I can't find the rest. I haven't made handles for all of them. And there are some, no, not going to come out. But I made the handles later, and it took me an age to get around to doing the handles. And the timbers shrunk with the brass, so I'm going to have to glue those back on. So if you're going to order the files, you can get them from, where can you get them from? You can get them from Lee Nelson, Australia, if you're in Australia, and that's where he is. That was for the benefit of when I put this up on YouTube. But honestly, if you're going to buy saw files, get the handles, unless you're going to go home and make the handles as soon as you get home, because it took me months to get around to making the handles, because it does hurt when you're using them and they're digging into the palm of your hand. It's not very nice. So, okay, what we'll do, I've been using this a fair bit. This is a Lee Nelson number, not a Lee Nelson number nothing. It's an 8 CPI, and I've been using it a fair bit on the construction work I've been doing in the shed. So what we're going to do, you pop it in the vise. The downside with these vices is that you have to move the saw along when you get to about here. Whereas if you make a saw doctor to take the full, I believe that's what they're called, saw doctor to take the full width of the blade, length of the blade, then you can put it in it, clamp it, and not worry about it. Okay, trick is when you're using these files is get the file that fits the saw. And what you actually want is a file that is going to go about 1/3 into the tooth without being too wide. This one is the right one for this, whereas if I use this one, it would do it, but actually it wouldn't do it too badly. But you don't want it so wide it's going to knock the width of your teeth out. Actually, I think I'll use this one. There you go. And there's 3 surfaces, and the edges have also got teeth on them. So try and keep the one surface in contact instead of pushing and pulling it and turning the saw. Just keep it on that one edge the whole time. That's going to annoy me. Hang on, let me get some super glue in there. I just happen to have a page of super glues here. Look at that. I don't know if I've got one open here. I'll use that if I have. No, that's all right. Use this one. And you want it so about 1/3 of the blade goes in. The reason for that, let me just put some glue on this. Yeah. Make a mess. There we go. Just leave that for a couple of seconds. I'll just have a quick chat while that's hardening up. Do you have any of the Japanese planes? Yes, I do. No, look, Pebbles, Japanese planes are fine. I've got actually one in a different workshop that I use for making chopsticks, which I'll bring down here and I'll show you how to make chopsticks, which is awfully good. I do have some really weird shaped planes for specialty purposes, and I can't find them just, oh, there you go. There's one I use for scooping out, if I was going to do a hollow guitar top, you know, an arch top. That's what I use for getting in there and hogging all the stuff out. That's adapted from an old Matheson. There are all sorts of different things you can do. I think it's horses for courses. It's what you like. I guess I was brought up with Western planes, so that's what I stick to, although I do like Japanese saws. I don't know, mine are down here. I've got a couple of Japanese saws I use. They're also good for dovetails, but be very, very careful because they cut on the draw stroke, not the push stroke. And the first time I found that out, I put some timber in a vise and laid my saw on the back of my thumb and pulled it back so I could get a start on the cut, and of course cut my thumb reasonably badly. Okay, that's glued in there. Now, these do wear out. Don't think you're going to buy one and use it forever. And the reason you want one that's going to be about 1/3 in to your teeth. Let's see if I can get a closer shot on this at all. Let's say that one, which is this one. Okay, I'm going to try something here. I'll bring this around here and pop it here to give you maybe a... Is that going to give you a better look? Okay. No, I don't think that's going to work. We'll just have to suffice with what we've got, I think. Oh, actually, there you go. That might be a bit better. So what I'm going to do to start with, actually Paul Sellers has got an idea, and I really think it's good. It's a great idea. So all the credit for this idea goes to Paul Sellers. I don't know if he watches my videos, but I sometimes watch some of his. But that's all good. Ideas are to share, and woodworking we should share with each other, I reckon. But what he says, instead of cutting all the teeth the same, which is at 90 degrees, these are rip saws, by the way. There's two sorts of saws. There's rip saws and there's fleam cuts, which are cross-cut saws. The difference is in the teeth and the way they're sharpened. Fleam cut or cross-cut are a little bit more difficult to sharpen. Oh, not difficult, but more involved. Whereas with cross-cut, they're just a straight, easy draw with the file. Is that one the one we want? Yep. So the back of the leading edge of the tooth is really perpendicular, and it cuts by chiseling the timber out. And a cross-cut, it cuts by severing the fibres. So cross-cut is when you cut across there, and the fleam cut, which is at 60 degrees and also at an angle, actually severs the fibres as it cuts through, whereas a rip saw, which this is, actually chisels and knocks the timber out straight away, sort of gouges it out like a chisel. So sometimes they're hard to start, especially if you've got a big hooker like this. Oh, this is a 4 TPI. Okay, that's pretty darn hefty going. And this cutting edge here is at 90 degrees. So when you start, especially with a low numbered TPI, which the lower the number, the more aggressive the cut, you really don't want to start cutting your timber by pushing a 90-degree chisel straight through it. So what Paul suggests is you start off with an inch at about 70 degrees, and then another inch at 80 degrees, and then the rest of the saw is at 90 degrees. That way you've got a leading edge, so when you start cutting a piece of timber, I don't know if you've tried it, you get a piece of timber and you're trying to start it and it just won't start. By having that progressional teeth for the first couple of inches, it helps you just to get started on your cut. then you can come through with the full blade. I think it's particularly useful up to about an 8 TPI, possibly a 10, but if I'm using a 12 TPI, the teeth are fine enough, I'm not too worried about it. So what you do, put your file in place. What are we doing here? Let me just see what you got with all these different cameras. I'll move that one back a bit there. There you go. Just set these up so you can get the shots. So have the blade flat and then tilt it. Not much. You don't want to tilt it so this edge is at 90 degrees, which is what we want up here. So it's just, you can leave it flat or just bring it forward a little bit. And then I've got 8 teeth to the inch, or 8 points to the inch. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so I'll do 8 at that. So that's nearly, these are 60 degrees, so it's, I'll hold it at about 70 degrees. And you just push forward. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. It doesn't take many files. And you can always see where you've been. Now I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 points. Now I'm going to bring it a little bit further forward. So I'm tilting this a little bit further forward, but I'm still not perpendicular to the cutting edge of the tooth. I think one more should do it, I think. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. One more. Okay, now that's giving me a progressional cut on the first 2 inches. And that's courtesy of Mr. Sellers. Now we bring it around. You don't worry about what the top's doing now, but you look at this edge here that you're going to be filing, and that has to be straight up and down, perpendicular. You can see where you filed because you've got nice shiny spots at the bottom of the gullets. And now you hold that at 90 degrees and just give it 2 or 3. So here we go. I can't talk when I'm doing this because I lose count. And you're parallel to the ground. So this cutting edge here is perpendicular and your file is horizontal, perpendicular to the ground. Horizontal to the ground, I meant, parallel. As you can tell, it's not hard to do. And you can see, and I'll show you when I come to the end of this how you can tell which ones you've done. What I didn't do, which you should do, but I knew this saw wasn't too bad, is you actually get a flat file and run it across the teeth, which we'll do to that old distant that we'll do up, and that dresses the tips, and then you can see how you're going. If I look down here, every one of those is nice and sharp. But sometimes if you've got a saw that's been hacked about, or somebody's messed around with it and messed all the teeth up, you can then counteract. If you've got a flat spot, you take a little bit off the front, a little bit off the back, and set the saw. This doesn't need setting. This is the first time it's been sharpened. Generally you'll get about, I don't know, 5 or 6 sharpens before you have to reset it, but I'll show you how to set in another video. Actually no, when we're doing that distance saw, I'll show you how to set. And try not to do what I was doing before, which is, I'll show you, dragging it back. You don't want to do that. You want to go 1, 2, take it right out of the tooth. That way it's going to preserve your file teeth. And after a while you just get into the swing of it. Very therapeutic. The majority of saws around today are rip saws. The gent saw that I showed you before for dovetailing, that's a rip saw. That dovetail saw is a rip saw. Most tenon saws are rip saws. So it's nothing to be frightened about by any means. Okay, now I've got to change this around and move it further in the vise. But if you have a look, I don't know if you can see it. Can you see that's really shiny down in the gullets? Whereas up this end, it's not as shiny. That's how I can tell these bits of what I've actually sharpened, and this is what I've got to sharpen. So you'll never lose your spot. I'll just finish sharpening this and then I'll get back and have a chat. If you got any questions, just bung them in, I'll get with you in a minute. And then if you do lose count, you just look down, you'll see it's nice and shiny. Go buy an old saw from a junk shop and practice on it. So you do have to concentrate. The more you do it, the more confident you become, the easier it gets. And take it right up to the last one. Okay, now if I rub my fingers along all of them, they are nice and sharp. You can feel your fingers just hooking on them. Get a bit of timber and we'll give it a go. Oh. See, we get that sapwood off there. Move this around there. There you go. So I'll move this further down to start it, and I'll move it up when I start getting into it. See how easy that is to start your cut just in that first couple of inches, and then when you get into it you can use the whole blade. I'll just do that again. Now we've got into it with the first couple of inches there. There you go. We've got into it with the first couple of inches there. Now I can go full length with the blade. And I think you'll agree that is cutting quite nicely. If you have a look at the line that I'm following, I haven't really gone off that line very much. I'll put a little bit of candle wax on it and it will cut even smoother. So I'll come from the other end. How you can start with just those first couple of inches makes a heck of a difference. Then when I'm in there, full stroke of the saw. So I'm going offline a little bit there, that's my sawing. I'll come back here, we'll finish it this way. There you go. That's a little bit out. So what we'll do, we'll get, there you go, we'll get a joining plane out and we'll just clean that up. There you have it. Boards cut the size. Nicely planed across the top. And this bit, if you wanted, we can clean that up. Same. Put it in the vise. You can hear the hit and miss. So in answer to your previous question, do you still need a hand plane if you've got a jointer? Yes, they come in very, very handy. All right, so that's how easy or hard it is to sharpen a plane. But, as I said, I got these from Lee Nelson, Australia. That's the brand on them. Very, very good. Swiss. You can't see that, can you? That's the brand on them. Very, very good. Swiss made. And check Anthony out. There. LeeNelson.com.au. And I'm sure he will help you out. And I'm going to send a copy of that video down to him. So that might be on his website. But don't be like me and be lousy. Order the handles at the same time. It's going to save you so much time and effort. Okay. Where are we up to? Have I ever been over to the US? Jared, I've landed there a couple of times, but I've never actually been there as a visitor. I think I've landed in New York once and I might have landed in LA once, I'm not sure. But anyway, no, I haven't. I'd like to one day, that'd be nice. I think I've got a Miller's Falls number 5 here, I think. Anyway, where are we going? Oh. I'm trying to catch up, but I forget where I am because that was a long break. George, g'day, lovely to have you on board. Oh, well, it'll grow in time. I wouldn't worry about it, Michael. The main thing is the people that are meant to be here are here, and I'm here, so it's better than talking to myself. I mean, I must admit, on Twitch I used to have hundreds, if not sometimes thousands, but I like YouTube. It's nicer. How often do I do live stream, George? At the moment, it's definitely a Monday, and then I try and get one through the week. I didn't last week, I was busy doing other stuff, but I want to get it, so I'm doing it at least twice a week. But Mondays or Sundays, if you're in America, is always. And then what I do at the same time, I stream but make videos that I can take out and put up on YouTube. So it's a double-edged sword. I get the live connection with the people that watch, and it enables me to stay here and get videos done that I can later upload onto YouTube. But any questions, fire away. No. Pebbles, and if you think about it, it wouldn't really work It'd be a very weak tooth, I think, because the way the structure of the blade geometry, it wouldn't have enough strength to cut for too long. Having said that, I don't know, maybe crosscut saws on trees do a little bit of it backwards and forwards. So the answer to the question is, I don't know for sure. Michael, don't be like that. I'm trying to get organised. Yeah, I've heard someone tell me about that, but I just, nah, too finicky for me, Paul. I just do it the way it is and that's it. It's a great skill to have, I agree. If I had to take some tools and survive on an island, I'd take an axe if there was trees. Look, I think a good saw. Depends what you want to make. Let me know what you want to make, Pebbles. That's the best one. And then I'll tell you what I reckon I would have. Because if you're going to make tables, it's different to making boxes. If you're going to make chairs, it's different to making tables. If you're going to make modular furniture, it's different to all three. So it all depends. Yeah, Yamaha, I think actually that would, and again, I guess it comes back to what you're going to make. Oh, look, I think a 5.5 is a very useful plate. For years, people have said the number 4 is the most useful, but no. Oh, no, by the way, that 5.25, that's what they used to have in schools. It's called a junior jack. And that's a pretty useful plate. But yeah, 5.5 seems, I think the schools have gone over to 5.5s now anyway. G'day, Brian from Sydney. How you going, mate? The city of the coat hanger. Recommendation from Marking Gate. I can give you two. One is my personal favourite, which is that one. That's an ebony Colin Clinton marking gauge, which is absolutely superb, and again, all handmade. But on the other side of the ledger, these Veritas marking gauges are pretty good as well. So it depends what you want. I've got 4 of these, but I could only afford 1 of these. But these are absolutely gorgeous. Colin Clinton, he's in New South Wales, he makes those. And they are available from H&T Gordon. So Terry and Colin are mates, as am I. So it's, yeah, it all depends what you like. But my preference for the mass-produced ones are the Veritas circular gauges. I think they're good. The only downside with these, I'm left-handed. And it's a right-handed thread that holds the blade on. So as soon as that blade becomes loose and I start using it as a marking gauge like that, it unscrews the blade, which isn't satisfactory. So if you're right-handed, you're fine. If you're left-handed, make sure you got some Loctite handy. Paul, make a lot of dovetails. Oh, Brian, thank you so much. Hard energy out to you, my friend. I appreciate that. Brian, you are the latest new member to the Woodworking Masterclass channel, and for the uninitiated, what that means is, apart from the fact you allow me to eat and to produce these videos, what some of the perks are is you get all the bloopers, if I make a few, and also you get different videos. Now, I take videos from these streams. Hang on, I've just got to change a camera. I take videos from these streams and upload them to YouTube, but I also re-edit a lot of them. Whoa, not that one. I don't want that one changed. That one's good. And give you much more content and also different shots. I film the stream in with 2 webcams and a pro cam, and then the videos I upload and definitely upload to the members community area are all done with pro cams, so you get much better definition. And when I remember it, I've got a GoPro up here that I use as well. So Brian, thank you. If anyone else likes to join, please hit the join button down below, and the more the merrier. And also, if you're a member and you've got any problems or you'd like to see something discussed or solved, I'll do my best to do it, and I'll do a video on it. In fact, Roy, who is also a member, was the one that asked me about, can I explain the different bench planes? So that eventually will go up on YouTube as a video, and also that video will go into the knowledge bank that's on the channel members community board. So there's gradually, we're starting to build up a knowledge bank of different videos there, how to use planes, how to cut joints, how to sharpen stuff, how to overcome situations, how to remove dents, how to repair a veneer, all that sort of stuff. So there you go. Hey, Ben from the Gold Coast. Mate, I was thinking of slipping down there today, I don't know. Thank you, Sean, I appreciate that. Lovely to have you on board. I don't know what message you retracted, but I love your stream and I like delivering it. So there you go. A6 from the UK, thank you so much. Pleasure to have you on board. There you go. Well, there you go. Well, I've never been called that, Sean, but I'll take it. If it's anything to do with Wolverine out of whatever that Marvel comic. I like Hugh Jackman. He's cool. All right, so I'm going to put these up. What else was I going to do? Oh, I'll cut some dovetails in a tick. I'll put these up. And before we cut the dovetails, actually, it's got to move. It's about 90 bucks worth of veneer. I'll go and put that up somewhere safe. But there's a huge mystery with dovetails, and really it's not a mystery at all. It's pretty, now I've got to set this up because I've moved the camera over there. If you wonder what I'm doing, I've shown people before, but these cameras, these TV screens here, now not that one, that's one of them, but I've also got 2 here. And that's why I can see what I'm doing, so when I do the videos, I can make sure I've got everything in shot. And sometimes I accidentally, or Bob knocks the screen, which is good. And it knocks them off centre. So even though I'm standing in the centre spot here, the camera's not centre there, but I've just lined it up so it is centred, which is good. Yeah, look, there's a lot of things about dovetails. There's nothing scary with dovetails. It's a joint, it's a friction joint, that's all it is. There's nothing hard about them, just got to get a bit of practice. And the thing I find boring, I mean, the textbooks and everything, 2-size dovetails, there's an 8-in-1 and there's a 6-in-1. What that actually means is a 6-in-1 is a lot wider than an 8-in-1. And a 6-in-1 you use in softwood because there's a lot of expansion and contraction and the wood's softer, therefore you can crush the dovetail by pulling on a draw and it'll get loose or whatever. And the idea with the 8-in-1 is it's for hardwood where there's not as much compression, so, you know, whatever. But it's boring. I mean, I do have dovetail jigs here that if I'm in a real hurry, I'll use. That's, I mean, you can make these yourself out of a bit of anodised, whatchamacallit, aluminium. Okay, that's a 1-in-6, and that's a 1-in-8. And if you hold them, you see the 1-in-6 is a lot broader than the 1-in-8. But it gets boring. You see you know, bits of furniture. I can look at the stuff and tell you if they're machine-made dovetails. It's bland, it's soulless, it's ugh. So what I like making my own dovetails, and my dovetail angle of choice is 5 1/4 in one, or 1 and 5 1/4. What that actually means, all that mumbo jumbo, is, I will show you, we'll make one, is for, here we go. Okay. Now I'm going to find. Oh dear. I'm looking for a sliding bevel, of which I have several. But at the moment elude me. So hang on, I'll just see if I can find one. No, I might have to go up the top shed. Oh, got to take that up to Susie while I think of it. Now bear with me, I'm just ratting through my drawer. Don't seem to have a sliding bevel here, but perhaps we don't need it. We'll have a go without it. There you go. Okay, what it means is, give you all 3 cams. You draw a line, or you measure up. I'm going to go 5 1/4 on this one. I'm just adjusting a different camera. There you go. So I'm going to come in 1 inch from the edge of the paper. Put a mark, like that. Got 1 inch. Now I'm going to measure up from the edge of that paper 5 1/4 inches and put a mark, which is, where are you at? There, that little pencil mark there. And now join a line between the two, and that's the dovetail angle for a 1 and a 5 1/4. So if I was to do 6 inches, if I measure up 6 inches is to there, and then I go from this mark here up to there, you will find that that is the same angle as a 1 in 6. See that there? So that's how you get it. So I prefer a 1 in 5 1/4, which is, it's a more robust looking dovetail, but also you can change. If you're doing a drawer, I remember doing a cabinet. I remember I'd streamlined it in my glasses on a tool, you know. I was doing a cabinet in Jarrah, which is a Western Australian hardwood, and I think I did 7 in 1 because it suited the drawer. I wanted to have a certain amount of dovetails. An 8 in 1 just looked like almost like a box joint, and so I did a 7 in 1. But that's how you get your angles. So what we can do now is, oh bum. Oh no, we'll just, yeah, we'll cut it out. We'll get it on the other side. No, we'll make a dovetail jig that will suit what we want. So cut that out. That's your 5 1/4. go and get a little stick of timber from somewhere or other. You could see the rubbish I've got out here. Oh dear, what's that? Oh, that'll do. No, go on, back. Go. No, you go and lie down. I'm just going to go and rip this on the bandsaw. Which, yes, I know, I'll just sharpen the saw. I could use it if I wanted to, but I don't want to, so don't hassle me. Where are we? There we go. I reckon that'll do. Oh, how come I'm not switched on? What's going on? What's happened, Bob? We've been decommissioned, mate. Oh, I know why that was. That was because I was using it to vacuum the MX-5 out. But now we're going. Now we're cooking with gas. Okay. No, you're going to lie down. You're not going out. Oh, he's got the hump now. Boom. I'll just cut that down. And for that, I'm going to use a dovetail saw. It is gorgeous little saw, this one. There you go. Now, if we tape that onto there, a little bit of sticky tape. I'm trying to do this so you can all see. Which one's that? Oh, this, okay. So tape that onto there like that. God, get up there. There you go. Okay, so it's just taped onto there like that. I would use a sliding bevel, only I haven't got one with me. So now I'm going to put my ruler there, and the ruler with a little bit of tape, taped on wet and dry. And that means if I try and do this, it's going to slip everywhere. But if I do this, where are we? I'm trying to get this camera lined up. There you go. If I'm doing this with the shiny side of the ruler, it slips everywhere. But if I've got that 240 grit wet and dry, it doesn't slip. And what I want to do now is just mark that with a knife. Okay, that's it. Now put it in the vise. And that's a little one. The little square. These squares too, by the way, they're Colin Clinton's, in case you're wondering. And what you do, you put your blade in first and then move the square up to the blade. That way you're not going to have any error and you'll get that nice crisp join mark all the way around. On the other side too. Same. Put your knife in the slot, move the square up to the knife. Unless you dock, and then what you do is you get someone else to mark it out for you. I couldn't resist it, I'm sorry, mate. And then, hopefully, you've got a mark here and a mark here. Now you just join those two marks up. Like so. So that's all the way around marked. Now just get a simple saw. I'm wondering where I can put this. Okay. So I might use a Japanese saw for this one. And I want to cut down. That's how I mark it. Speaking of marking gauges, we'll mark the depth I want this to go. I only want to take a couple of mil off, really. So it doesn't, it's not critical, but it's nice to just have some lines there to work to. So that's marked all the way around so I know how far to cut. I'll just let Bob out. He wants to go and do something. Go on. There you go. I'm just going to cut down to those lines. Now, in order to get a nice cut, it's a good practice where you've actually made those lines. If you score a chisel down there, it's like that. Can you see that? Yeah. I'm actually creating a fence for the saw to sit on. And then that'll fit in there, sit nicely against that wall. And I'll just cut down to that side, and I think I'm there too. Get a chisel, clean that up. I don't know how sharp this one is. These have got to be sharpened. I really do have to find my squirt bottle. And do the same to the other side. Clean up any rough bits to the left. Just drop the saw in. Cut down the line. I'll just bear this across. Okay, I mean you can spend a lot more time finessing it if you like, but basically that's a unique dovetail jig that if you want to use it, all you do is put it down on your job, and you can then mark out your dovetails, and that's at 5 1/4. So if you want, I mean, there's some dovetails I use actually is a 4 to 1. I don't know where it is at the moment, but I don't know if you've seen those impossible Japanese sliding dovetail joints. I use a 4 to 1 when I use those. So there you go, that's an easy way of making your own jigs. Don't have to spend any money. That came out from a bit of scrap that was lying on the floor. Let me have a chat. Am I that far behind again? I've been doing too much talking, I can tell. Oh, there you go. I know I've done it a few times. Thanks, Jared. Am I that far behind? Oh, okay, back to you, Pebbles. The minimum tools, because I'm looking at your shop that's overflowing with hundreds of tools that probably cost as much as your house. Actually, if you go and have a look at box making, it used to be Room for Woodwork, but there's a channel called Box Making now. It's mine. If you click it, you go to the YouTube channel, Woodworking Masterclass YouTube channel, and it's Room for Woodwork up in the top panel. Click that. That is actually, it was Room for Woodwork, and I had a bench set up in the corner of my bedroom. And that was minimal tools and how you can do woodworking in confined spaces. Still do a great job. No power tools, everything was hand tools, and I worked with a minimum of tools there. So there you go, that might give you an idea. It's a pity because it was a good concept, only I might have been before my time. It hasn't taken off. So I've changed it to box making, and that's where I'm going to put all the box making videos when we get around to it. And no, you don't need all of what I've got. What do you build? I build furniture, I build boxes. I've just finished building a toilet, and I've just finished building a couple of rooms, and I've got to throw some gyprock up later on today. So there you go. You'll find out pretty quick. If you drop me an email, Pebbles, at admin, or Ray, if you could throw it up, admin@woodworkingmasterclass.com.au, and I'll send you back what I consider is a good list of hand tools. Stephen, how are you? Oh, I'm pleased you made it. Yeah, it's a disease, isn't it? Yeah, Yamaha, it just creeps up on you. But I tell you what, your comment, Pebbles, about you buy a tool and then you don't use it. There's tools I've bought here, and I bought them for a specific purpose. Haven't used them, and they could have cost a few $100s. But then all of a sudden I'll need it, and there's no other tool that'll do the job except for that one. And boy, am I pleased I bought it. Because now if I'd go to buy it, it'd be more expensive. So there you go. And that's what I tell my wife. And she believes me. Yeah, the T20s isn't a bad block plane. Up to you, Sean, if you want to build your own tools or not. I think my preference was initially when I started, I just wanted to get into woodwork. So I bought tools so I could get into woodwork, and then down the track I thought, oh, I'll start making a few tools, which I did, and now I prefer to go and buy them because and sometimes I have to modify a plane or buy a special or build a specialty jig or tool for a specific job. But 9 times out of 10 I just prefer to go and buy it, and then I can build something that I really want to build. So, but horses for course, it's all good practice. Oh, you always, yeah, that's true. You learn more from losing than you do from winning. G'day, Noel, how are you, mate? Why? I like being like this. I'd hate to be prepared, regimented and everything else. It's just, it flows. As I said earlier, I turn the camera on, whatever happens, happens. Yeah, no, I'd have to charge a lot more than $5 for a member, I think, if I was totally structured. Even classes. You come here for classes, you'll get stuff done, but you know, if you want regimentation, sorry, don't do that. I bucked that when I got out of the military. I decided I want to be free range. He had a slightly lighter bob too. What was that, Sean? Sean, what's the best wood for tools? Whatever you got around. Honestly, this stuff's bowyacker. We cut that down about 4 years ago. That's Gidgee. That was cut down a bit before that. There's other tools I've got here. Queensland walnut. I've got some made out of Jarrah, some made out of cedar, some out of pine, some out of coachwood. Depends whatever timber I've got. In Europe, particularly, they use European beech because of the stability. But it depends what you want to use it for. If you're going to make a plane or something, yeah, get a stable timber and make sure you've got a quarter sawn so it's not going to shrink or move on you. But depends what you like. That's the best thing. Build something out of what you like, and if it breaks, build it again. Visa, what time is it now there? It is now 11:45 at lunch at midday. Oh, that's right, Brian, you're on silly time, aren't you? Everyone says to Queenslanders, why don't you catch up? Why aren't you daylight? We don't change our clocks. How can we catch up? My body clock is set, and I'm not changing it. Oh, look, a lot of people do freehand dovetails. I've seen Frank, whatever his name is, do them, but honestly, I don't like strict regimentation, but it would annoy me if a dovetail was meant to be a set of dovetails and one was out. So that's my personal preference. I use dovetail gauges. I might even get to set some out pretty soon. G'day, John. How are you, mate? Thanks for the bobs. Bit of water, what's that? Oh, didn't they? I don't know about that. Edgar, g'day, how are you? Thanks for popping in. Yeah, look, again, as I've said, Stephen, James Renoff, he used to make a lot of his own planes. If you get some of his books, I think Cabinet Maker's Notebook is a good one, and it's got some planes that he's made in there that you can copy. All right, let's get on. Seeing we're talking about dovetails, we'll get on to make some. People say the through dovetail's easier than the lap dovetail. I disagree with that because I think a lap dovetail, I can hide more mistakes than a through dovetail. So we'll see how we go anyway. All right, so this is going to be the box that I'm making. And let's see how big we're going to make it. Where did... There we go. What did I say it was going to be last week? 250. That'll do. That sounds about right. Okay, so I've got to square this board up first. I know this edge is straight here, so I'm going to put a mark on that. And what I will do is just make sure it's square this way. Oh, which for my purposes, it's good enough. And, okay, what did I say, 250? Okay. So, I'm going to cut that off there. Measure 250 down, which is to there. And I'll cut 250 out of this one. Be there. This is going to be, Alan, if you're still on, this is going to be the first project for the curriculum for the box making classes. Now, also got to make these the same thickness. Boom, 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 boom. So I'll work out, put that away, don't need that for the moment. So I've got to plane that down to that line, which I shall do in a tick. And that is going to be good enough there. Oh dear. All right. When you're planing, look at the grain and see which way the grain's going. In this case, I've got a cranky grain going here. It's coming this way and it's coming this way. But this is the piece that I want to keep here. So what I'll do is I'll just plane that piece. Actually, what I can do, I can even cut that, I'll cut it. Same as before. Mark where you're going to cut with a knife. Use the tail vise, just while I mark these. And then on the waist side, because this is the line that I actually want to cut on, this is the line I want to cut. I'm going to go on the waist side and just create that fence. Going on this end, I'm going into the waist side to create that fence. It doesn't matter what I use. I could use a Japanese saw or a conventional saw. What I might do, I'll use a Japanese saw on one of them and I'll use a conventional saw and a Western saw on the other. Whoops. Make sure you get the straight edge. On the waist side, actually I'll use a paring chisel for this. I'm running out of blade. That's what these beautiful big things are for. Just for paring. And don't they do a good job? I've ordered a few more of these. I don't know when I'll get them, but they're just so nice to use. And one of the greatest little things you can make for yourself is a bench hook. These are so simple. All it is, a bit of plywood, 2 bits of 2B1, hooks over your bench like that, and they are so handy for sawing. What did I say? I'll do a Japanese saw first, all right? So it just sits on your bench like that with the bench hook. Don't forget Japanese saw cuts on the pull stroke. Keep the back of the blade perpendicular. As you get nearly all the way through, you can curl it. Forget I just said that because I've just gone through it. And if we check that for square, Which camera am I on? Oh, this one. There you go. It's nice and square. And pretty square that way. I'm like, no, that's pretty good. A little high on there, but that's what you need the block plane for. So we'll take the other end off. I'll show you what I meant by curling in a minute, if I can do it. Notice how I've got the toe of the saw down and I'm cutting all the way through that end, and then back here I've got the heel of the saw cutting all the way down. So hopefully I've got a cut here and the cut here, and if I want I can then line this cut up and then this cut up, line them both together. That way I don't run the risk of tearing any end grain out when the saw comes through, but I can go straight through and get a nice clean cut like that. And again, it's got a little bit we've got to tickle, but not too much. That's not too bad. Okay, so we do the same with, okay, I'll do a rip saw. That rip saw we just sharpened before. Here we go. Put it in there, bring it back. Whoops, chopped a bit out there. Gently does it. There's no point in rushing it, just allow the saw to cut without you having to force it. And when you get into the kerf, which is the slot that the saw actually makes, just don't force it, just let it glide through. And this one I'll cut all the way through, there you go. Again, reasonable sort of cut. Where's the pretty darn square. Not too bad that way either. And, oh, get the little dovetail saw. Whoops. Again, let the saw, the weight of the saw, don't force it. Just let the weight of the saw go through the timber. You know, you might think you get through it quicker if you rush it, but really you don't. You just run the risk of jumping out or tearing out or doing something horrible. So, look, there you go. Doesn't matter what saw you use, it's going to work just fine. Oh, I better do one of these edges too, I suppose, hadn't I? What have I forgotten the measurements? What? Anyone remember what it was? Was it 250 by 120, something like that? I don't know. Give me a look. Doesn't matter. Yeah, 250 by 140 looks all right. Okay, so cut that at, hang on, we're doing dovetails, aren't we? All right. I'll cut the other two at 140. Let me have a chat. Oh. Where's my mouse? My mouse has died. No, it hasn't. I've lost my mouse. Hup. Don't know what happened then. Oh, got it back. Sort of. Perhaps it just doesn't like Sawdust. No, I'm back. It might have just like me, it sometimes goes off. Oh, thanks for putting that in. I reckon lap dovetails are easier. My uncle gave me a piece of advice for wood. Remember, at the end of the day, it's just a piece of wood. If you do it wrong and it doesn't work out, or you've lost it sometimes, well, you haven't lost the time, you've learned something, and you've made some firewood. It's a double bonus there, Pebbles. Yeah, you're bordering on dominoes there, Yamaha. No, I don't like dominoes. You know, there's one joint I never did was a full blind on the mitre. It's what nails are for. I think I answered that one, Sean. Best wood to use for a planer bee. European beech is what they use in Europe. Terry uses Gidgee or Boyaca or Mile or Bull Oak or Pink Ivory or whatever he's got. But yeah, they seem to use European beech because it's so stable. That's it. Carmen, Karam, thanks for dropping in. But was it as long as that one to start with, John? This one, yeah, this one bends. It's flexible. Look at that. It's good though. I like it. Yeah, these are Collins squares, these ones. There you go. Got the CC on Colin Clinton. And they're adjustable, so if you did knock them and they got out of square, you adjust it. Do you know how to make, I'll show you how to make sure a square's square. Well done. Oh, here's a bit of wood. That should be square. Okay, what you do, what? Wrong one. Let's go that one. No, let's not. Let's go that one. Okay. All you do, I'm going to use a pencil because this is a job. I don't want to use a knife. But you could use a knife. And to see if your square is square, all you got to do is get a known straight edge. And I know that's square because I just planed it square. And then draw a line down there, flip the blade over, draw a line down there. I'll do this a bit harder. In the same spot, if those two lines line up, then it's square. If they go off and form a V or something or other, they're not square. So that's where these are great, because if it is out of square, you can actually adjust it with these adjusters. Very, very nice. So that's laced she oak, that one, and that's ebony, Macassar ebony. So I have got another one around here somewhere. Oh, it's under all this junk, which one day I'll clean up. Very soon, one day, very soon, I'll clear up. Yeah, combo squares are okay. I've got a few of them. but I sometimes see they wobble a bit too, and if you've got a bit of grit there, they can put you out a little bit. All right, what are we doing? I was gonna 140, I said, didn't I? 140. All right, that's marked, that's marked, that's cut. So I've got to cut this one in. I wonder if we'll get 140 out of that. Oh, easy peasy. Lost my knife. And again, when you're measuring, put your knife on your mark and then move your square up to the knife and try not to let it move like it did then. If there's anything else you want to know or see, let me know, and if I can do it, I shall. If I can't, I'll tell you I can't. And a lot of the times when we're making something, this box for example, it's not about making the box. It's about the skills you learn while you're focusing on actually making the project. My personal thing is I really detest practicing stuff for no reason. You know, oh, we've got to do this now. Now go through the motions, get the stance right, get this. Look, if I'm not making anything, I'm not interested, so I don't care. Whereas if I'm making something and I have to employ all those skills, that's fine. And if I botch the job up, I don't care because I'm still learning the skills, but I've also got a record of what I learned, or the lessons that I learned along the way. It would be so easy just to go over to the bandsaw and do this. But it's learning the skill. I'll actually square that bit off. I don't know if we'll get time for doing the dovetails today, but anyway. Again, look at the grain configuration and which way it's going. It's actually going, hang on, where's it go? That way. So I'm going to plane from here to there. Now, a small little bit of wood like that, I'm not going to waste my time with a number 7. I'm really not. So I'm going to use a 5 1/4. And away we go. Because it's a small bit of wood, I don't need that long sole, so it's much easier on my body to just plane it using a smaller plane. So I'll show you what will happen if I'm using a number 7. See, straight away, that gets in the way, the back of the sole drops off there, and then when I'm over the other side I tip it like that. Whereas if I'm using a plane that's got the better balance with the timber behind it, I can get out about 2 passes to go on that. And just see how square it is. I'll tell you what, I'm starting to get good at this. It's a bit high up there. It's high towards me, so I'm going to purposely tilt the plane a little bit that way, and I can tell what I'm doing because I get a very thin shaving out of the plane, so I know I'm just taking this little edge bit off. And then I can do full width ones, and that's plane down to the line. And it's pretty darn square for all intents and purposes. And we'll just go this way. I wouldn't lose any sleep over that, although it's got a little bit high on this end. Yeah, this one's better. It's high on this end and it's got a bit of a dip in it. So that's what you use a block plane for. Now, when you're using a block plane, make sure that mouth is closed up. Can't find them, yeah, this will do. So I'll use this one because it's... So the gap is equal all the way along there, and then I'm going to close that mouth up. So there's almost no mouth there at all. And you give it a couple of testicles. No, she's a little bit too deep, so I'm winding it back a little bit. What happens when you're using a block plane, if you go too far over the end, I'm just adjusting it until I get the right amount out. It sounds okay. There we go. I can tell by that sound. But if I go over this edge here, I'm going to tear out the end piece. If I go right across there, I'm going to split this end bit. A couple of things you can do. One, you can get another sacrificial bit of timber and put it in there. And plane across the two like that, and that will hold it in place. But another way is if you just take a very slight chamfer off that end. Very, very slight, just like that. Now I can plane right across, and because I've got that chamfer on there, I won't split. You can see there, you can see that that shiny bit. See that dull bit in the middle there? That's a low spot, so I've got to get that bit out. Okay, now that's square. Check for square this way. Pretty darn good. Then we've checked for square that way, and that's pretty darn good. Then that's where you can mark out your dovetails. And I'm just looking at the clock. I think we'll leave that for a later time, because I'm starting to get hungry. I've been doing it for 3 hours. Anyway, I will catch up and have a chat. I don't know if that air conditioner's working. It must be hot outside. Oh dear. Where are we up to? Francis, g'day, how are you? Oh, well, we're just doing a bit of wood. We're just tailing out now, just sort of finishing up. I'm just catching up on chat. I have a good size hook that I use mainly for planing and giving a sacrifice. Where's rosewood? Are there any types of wood that is not available now or even banned use? There is heaps. My timber shed is full of wood you can't get now. I bought it 20, 30 years ago, and yeah, all the leases have been locked down in the state forest, so you can't get it. So I'm hanging on to it. It's my superannuation. What's bad camera angle? Does that make a marking knife a utility knife or a purpose-built? No, it's one they don't make anymore. I've got a few of them, only because I bought them, I found them when they didn't have them anymore, so I've got 3 or 4 of them, I think. But they are a really, really nice knife. Then they bought another one out that you can't get anymore either. The closest one they've got is this one. This is a folding knife. Now, if you're in America or England, it's a totally different blade. I was using it earlier this morning. I don't know if I've got it on me. Their blade is totally different to the one I've got there. And, well, there you go. I was talking about that before. That's the little, we even got it stamped on there, 4-in-1. That's the one I use for Japanese sliding impossible dovetails. Yeah, we'll go back here. See that blade? That's the blade I like using, which is the same blade as that. The American Stanley knife, it's got cross hatching on it, and it's got a much more rigid blade, and it's not good for what I use it for, which is marquetry. So I much prefer these. In fact, I've just ordered 12 of them from England for classes. So, no, they're not custom-made knives at all. And these are the blades. Oh, I think I've got a box of blades here somewhere or other. There you go. Go this one. Now that's the blades. And that should last me a fair while, but it amazes me. I don't know if it's the Care Bears or what have stopped them from doing them, but it seems to me that everyone's going there to their way. They come up with a good product, and then somebody goes, "Oh, that's dangerous." Hello, it's a flipping knife. Of course you can cut yourself on it. It doesn't matter if it's got a retractable blade or not. I won't go off, because I could get on my hobby horse about that, but I won't. Yeah, specifically that knife was what did you say? No, it's a 10-109 is the one I was using. The 598, I think, is the one you might still be able to get. Oh, Big Red Toolbox. I'll check them out, Ray. I'll check them out. Oh, there you go. Well, that'll say why it's warm. Yeah, you can get them from Colin or get them from H&T Gordon, John. So I know Terry carries stock. I'm just going up to see if my air conditioner's working because I can't feel a thing. Oh no, it's still working. It's warm. What can I tell you? 28 degrees, I'm coming over to the west. Oh, listen mate, I'm with you, Doc, yeah. I mean, goodness gracious. Anyway, well that's about it. I did most of the things I wanted to do. What did I do? Oh, I haven't done that saw up. We can save that for a later project, or I might start on that. We'll do some dovetails next time round. But anyway, we worked out how the planes go. I sharpened a saw, which is great because I've promised Anthony that video. So, Anthony, I know I've promised it for you for ages, and I apologise, mate, but here it is. We did a dovetail jig, talked about how you got the angles for dovetails, cleaned up that veneer board. I got some jobs done that I needed to do. So I think that's about it. I'll try and get another stream on before the end of the week, but I want to get some videos up on YouTube. Thanks for everyone that joined. If anyone else wants to join and become a member of the Woodworking Masterclass channel, I would appreciate that. It's fantastic. It's $5 a month or $5.99 a month. And the benefits are you get extra premium videos, you get, not my phone number, but you can ask me to do things and I'll do videos to try and help you out. And I'm trying to build a real community there, a woodworking community where we can help each other, and there'll be a resource that gradually grows week by week that we can refer to when we get into making more projects. When I've got these sheds all sorted out and I'm not torn between being a builder and a DIYer and a fine furniture maker, it would be good. I think that's just about, what's that? What do I got one of these. I bought it at the $2 shop the other day, mate. Absolutely. She's brilliant. You just got to work out how to turn it on. There you go. $2. I use them on my forge. And that's another thing. Well, we'll start doing some more metal work as well. Hope to catch you next time, Stephen. That would be good. Well, thanks, Pebbles. I hope you are. And don't forget, if you want, drop me an email and I'll shoot you over the list of the hand tools. And I guess that's going to be it. Yeah, they will. That's what makes me laugh. I can't walk around with a pocket knife, but I can walk around with a folding chisel in my pocket. Yeah, good on you. Anyway, this is Steve saying thanks very much. Thanks from the moderators. Thanks for the people that joined up as members. Thanks for those that took part. Thanks for the people that are in the background. By all means, get confidence up. Say good day next time. We don't bite. If you want to know anything, I'm not saying I have all the answers, but I do have some of the answers. And as you can tell, my voice is going. So this is Steve pulling the shed door down and saying thank you once again for being with me on Woodworking Masterclass. Remember to keep it sharp, but more importantly for you, Doc, keep it safe. And for everyone else, keep it safe. And I look forward to having your company in the workshop, at the workbench, again next stream very, very soon. So until then, good night, goodbye, good morning, good day, God bless, and I hope to see you soon. Bye for now. Ha